So Ava is a perception systems company where we're designing and developing a new type of a LiDAR sensing system that we call a 4D LiDAR technology to help really cars, vehicles, and robots in general see the world in a better way and in entirely new ways. The key thing for us is measuring velocity. So typically you're familiar with LiDARs as a 3D sensor that measure depth. For us, we measure velocity very precisely and have the advantage to actually put it all onto a tiny photonics chip that helps us to mass manufacture it. But to your point, yeah, absolutely. I mean, for us, of course, we do see the impact of the pandemic. It's maybe to a lesser extent because we're not in production today, but we did make the decision to join forces with a inter-private company to go public and be publicly listed, and we're looking to close that transaction in Q1 of next year, and really driven by the fact that we see an opportunity to capitalize on the automotive sector for some of the commitments we have to our customers in the next years of production. We're talking about 23, 24 timeline, but also an opportunity to expand into additional markets beyond just specific autonomous driving. So that's a bit about us and the opportunity that we see in terms of the go public process for AVA.
Suresh and then Alexander, I want to ask both of you what you think the pandemic has done for the push towards autonomous driving. Do you think it's accelerated it at all, or given the kind of ride-hailing applications, people sharing vehicles, do you think it might actually have slowed down? Suresh, you first.
Sure. I think you have to kind of differentiate a little bit. You're talking about uh, which level of autonomous driving or which level of automated driving, but also you're talking about mobility applications, robotaxi applications or not. I think from at least our standpoint as a supplier in the automotive space, we see actually a more gradual and call it pushback of some of the robotaxi type applications, which has been coming for some time, and now it's pretty clear where that is landing, and including actual, full automation of the driving function. Uh, in return, we are actually seeing a acceleration, a pull in, and a clear focus from I think many of the players in the space, including some of the top OEMs, um, push on actual deployment of specific ODD or driving functions on the for autonomous driving. For example, highway automation, or point to point or depot to depot automation for trucking applications. So that I think actually, in our view, in during pandemic seems to be accelerating. And at least being firmed up in terms of the plans, and it's something that it's definitely interesting to see in the market, this kind of bifurcation of how the shift kind of almost step back into kind of the reality of where we are and what's practical to achieve in the next 4 to 5 years.